Welcome to the tutorial video for the lab about solubility. And in this lab, you're trying to figure out what properties of the solvent and solute will best predict whether or not the solute will be soluble. For example, when you mix a solid into a liquid, what helps you figure out if it's soluble or not? And here are some of the solvents and solutes in the lab with their densities, molecular masses, polarities, and melting points. So looking at this chart, you can see those various properties of the solvents and solutes. And then you're going to come down here, and in this chart, you'll notice what we're looking for. If you see a liquid with no visible solid left, that means it's probably soluble. If there's a little bit of liquid that's slightly soluble with the solid, a little bit of solid there, and if the solid is completely undissolved, that's insoluble or not soluble. So use that chart. Now let's go down and actually do the lab. So your first task is to pick a hypothesis you'd like to test. And which property do you like? Do you like density, molecular mass, melting point, or polarity? I'm just going to click one at random. You'll see that becomes your hypothesis. And now we get to do those combinations of solvents and solutes. Let's start with the first one, water and salt. Press play. You notice the water goes in the test tube. Then we put a measured amount of salt in there. We shake it up and put it back in the test tube holder. And let's take a look at a close-up of that and see what we found. Okay, so here's what we have. Is that soluble, slightly soluble, or insoluble? Well, I'm going to go with soluble. And notice that it helps us out by telling us that, yes, water and salt, indeed, the salt is soluble in water. That's we get the green check mark. If I press save, that goes right in my box right here. Now, if I were to do, say, water and sugar, I'm just going to do one more example. Let's just quickly get through the video. Let's say I said that was insoluble, even though quite clearly it's soluble. You get that red bar, you can reset, and you can press soluble. So you can just reset this, try it as many times as you like. Once you get it right, you save it to your list. Do all the combinations of solvents and solutes here and try to figure out which property of solvent and solute best predicts solubility in this virtual lab.